Why is it that one person out of everyone you have ever met still lives in your mind like they never left? No matter how long it's been, no matter how much you've tried to move on, they appear in your dreams, in your memories, in the silence between thoughts. Why? Why them? This isn't just nostalgia. It's not just heartbreak. It's something deeper. And until you understand it, you won't be able to let go. There are people who pass through your life quietly, like strangers brushing past you in a crowd. And then there's that one person who doesn't just touch your life, they imprint on it. It's like they carved their name somewhere inside you, and now everything reminds you of them. A song, a scent, a sentence someone else says. You tell yourself it's stupid, that it shouldn't matter anymore, that you're over it. But then it hits you again, randomly, powerfully, as if time and logic mean nothing. This is not weakness. This is memory fused with meaning. Psychologists call it emotional encoding. When your brain links a person to a flood of feelings so strong, it becomes part of your identity. They're not just someone you loved. They're someone you became in their presence. And when they left, they didn't just take themselves, they took a version of you that only existed with them. One of the hardest things for the human mind to accept is a story without closure. We're wired to complete things, to understand them, to wrap them up neatly so we can move on. But what if that person left with no explanation? What if the timing was off? What if life interfered, or fear got in the way? Now your brain is stuck in a loop, endlessly replaying moments, wondering what could have been, trying to rewrite the ending it never got. And here's the cruel part. The mind confuses unfinished with unforgettable, so you mistake the lack of closure for depth of connection. But maybe it's not that they were your soulmate. Maybe it's just that the page was torn before the story could finish, and your heart is still trying to read the missing words. Sometimes it's not even about them. It's about what they triggered in you. Maybe they showed up right when you needed someone. Maybe they made you feel seen for the first time, or maybe they reflected a wound you didn't even know you had. Psychologists call this a trauma bond or an emotional blueprint, where you attach not just to the person, but to the feeling they gave you. That feeling becomes addictive, even if it wasn't healthy, even if they hurt you. And so your brain keeps replaying them, not because they were good for you, but because they represented something your soul desperately craved. Love, safety, validation, or even chaos that felt familiar. And until you recognize what that feeling was, you'll keep confusing the person with the need. We romanticize the idea of the one, the person who was meant for us, the person who was different for us. But sometimes, what made them unforgettable was not destiny, it was projection. You saw in them everything you wanted to believe about love. You filled in the gaps with fantasy. You ignored the red flags because your heart needed a reason to hope. And when they left, they didn't just leave as a person. They left as a symbol of a life you thought you could have. But that wasn't them. That was your imagination falling in love with possibility. And that's why they haunt you. Because they weren't just a person. They were a mirror of everything you thought love was supposed to be. You lie awake at night and think, did they ever think about me like this? Was it real for them? What if I was never enough? You search for answers in silence. You reread old messages. You decode old photos like they're ancient runes holding a secret. But here's the truth, no one tells you. The pain isn't just about losing them. It's about losing the version of yourself that existed when you felt loved. It's about how alive you felt, how seen, how hopeful. And maybe, just maybe, you don't miss them. You miss you were with them. So why can't you stop thinking about that one person? Because you never truly said goodbye to the feeling. Because the story didn't get to finish. Because part of you still believes it meant something. But now, you know. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're just human. And healing doesn't always look like forgetting. Sometimes, healing looks like understanding. Not why they left, but why you held on. And the moment you stop chasing the person and start listening to what your heart was really looking for, that's when you'll realize the one you've been searching for might not be someone you lost. It might just be the version of you still waiting to be found.